everyone, it's Mimi and Weezus.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Thanks for tuning in to the Mimi and Weezus show once again.
We want to apologize for the delay on the episode, guys, but something really crazy happened to Miranda this weekend.
Well, I guess it's been going on for the past few months, but finally I got to meet my sister and my niece that I did not even know existed until 2 or 3 months ago at the very most.
It
So,
was some movies thing. It was a long lost sister,
yeah,
twice
like some
removed type of situation, or what?
twice removed, exactly. It was like some lifetime drama that's been going on, and I finally got to go out and meet them and spend time with them this weekend. So we didn't have time to record and get an episode ready. Um, you would think that we had some lined up and queued, but we are very unorganized still, so we didn't. So here we are.
Oh, for sure. And I have some questions I've been wanting to ask, and I'm pretty sure everyone's been wanting to know who your older sister is.
I'm ready. I'm ready to talk about it so everyone can find out because I wasn't ready before just because like I really didn't even know much. We met through ancestry, which you hear stories about people doing their DNA and meeting cousins and long lost siblings and stuff, but you never think it'll happen to you. And so I'm going to start from the beginning and kind of tell everyone how this even happened. So about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, I made my family tree on Ancestry. I didn't do a DNA test, I just made my family tree. And I ended up meeting some of my cousins, second cousins that I didn't even really know about. My grandparents, so my grandma, so my dad's mom, that grandma, I don't even know how to explain it.
For sure.
She had like a ton of brothers and sisters. I don't even know. Maybe I would say five, but I think there's more. I can't even tell you honestly. And my grandpa had the same. Like he had like nine brothers and sisters type of situation. So my second cousins, like there's probably hundreds of them, and so I've never even met half of them. My dad is a lot older than my mom too. So like my first and second cousins are quite a bit older than me. So I'm the youngest one, me being 28. All my first cousins that I should have grown up with, hanging out with, are all, in their 50s at this point. So some 25-year-olds didn't want to hang out with a newborn baby all the time. So I understand how we weren't close. I get it. So, anyways, I don't know half
It's a
my
big
cousins.
old age gap between you and your other your other family.
Exactly. And so honestly, that was my ADHD brain that really had nothing to do with the story that much, but I just thought I'd throw it in there because I had to give you every detail. But so
I need to know everything.
right, I had to just like go way back into the story, like pull out deep files. So I meet all these cousins on there. They're a lot older than me, but I still want to be part of their lives. So I message them and I reach out to one of my cousins, and I met her that way, and she actually happens to do all like the genealogy stuff for my dad's mom's side of the family. And so she and I spoke. She added me to this Facebook group, and I was able to meet like hundreds of my cousins that were all interested in this stuff. And so it actually worked out, and it was really cool. Well, flash forward from that to about 2 or 3 months ago, that same cousin messages me and is like, hey, I finally got around to uploading my DNA, and I did 23andMe or whatever and linked it with Ancestry. I got all my stuff uploaded, and I matched with someone, and I'm not sure who they are. And I'm like, okay, um, why am I involved in this in any way? I don't understand. And she's like, well, this person matched with me as their second cousin, which she's my second cousin, this lady. And she also matched with your other cousin from your grandpa's line, like one of your grandpa's brothers, kids. And I'm like, that's weird. And at this point, I'm still not getting it. And I'm like, well, that's strange. I don't have a cousin with that name. And she's like, yeah, exactly. And I'm like, well, I don't know what I still at this point I'm oblivious. I'm like, so what do you want my help with,
she's like she's like throwing it in your face. She's like, what I'm trying to tell you, baby girl.
Exactly. And I'm like, I don't know. Like my aunts definitely couldn't have had a secret baby at that time. It was the 60s, the late 60s. That kind of stuff couldn't have been hidden that easily. And And so I'm like, nah, they didn't hide anything. And so I'm like, well, my uncle, it's got to be my uncle. Maybe my uncle had a baby that he didn't know about. He maybe got around. Who knows? No, that was not the case. So then I'm like piecing all this together and I'm like, wait a dang second. Are you telling me that I might have a sibling? And she's like, I think so, but you would really have to do DNA testing to find out, like, can I give this person your information? So she gives who eventually turns out to be my sister my information. And we're trying to figure out, like, are we cousins? What's going on here? And then I don't want to tell too much of her story because it's kind of hers to tell. So, but she just kind of uploaded her DNA, I don't know, 8 or 9 years ago, and has been just trying to find out who she is really. She wasn't necessarily looking for us, and trying to find another family or anything, but just out of
More
curiosity.
like where she came from, right?
Yeah, where she came from, what her genetics are like, that kind of thing. And the only real information she has is that her dad was Hispanic and her mom was white. That's literally all she knows, and she knows her birthday, obviously. And so she tells me that, and then she tells me what her birthday is, and I'm like, I'm gonna call my dad and I'm gonna ask him what the heck is going on. And so I start by being like, hey, could Uncle Alex maybe have like had a secret kid or like one of your sisters? And he's like, no, that wouldn't, no, like they couldn't have. And I'm like, well, something's sus then, like there's something going on here. This person is like my sibling then. And he's
Was
like,
that your dad's like, she's on to me? Nice.
exactly. Like that's kind of, and it was like one of those moments where he's like, well, this is possible, whatever. So then me and my sister end up just talking every day. And through stories from my dad and cousins and stuff, we find out like when he had graduated high school, he had gotten someone pregnant and the baby was put up for adoption, whatever. And I'm like, oh my God. So then I went through all these different, I don't know, it's not like, when you're grieving, you go through like the 10 stages of grief and you go through like all this craziness. That's almost what it was like. I was never, I'm excited to have a sister. Like, I'm very excited. I'd like to start off by saying that. But I did go through like a moment where I was like angry that this was kept a secret from me because my life would have been a lot different had I had an older sister, to help raise me and stuff. Like my childhood was a bit chaotic and it would have been really cool to have a sister. But then at the same time, like I'm also happy for her because she did have a much better life being raised where she was. And it would have been hard for her probably. And, we're 25 years apart in age. So when she was 25, I was just being born. So there's a big age gap between me and her too. Which when I first met her, I'm like, how this is weird. Like we're so far apart. What are we gonna have in common? But now that we've met in real life this weekend, which was like a surreal experience, you would think that it would have been like awkward, but it wasn't at all. That's the hardest part to explain is we met and it was just a normal thing. Like I have known this person my whole entire life. And I got to meet my niece also, who's the same age as me. And we all are the same. Like we all have the same sense of humor and like the same things. It just feels like we've known each other forever. Like we could just talk. Like, in
It's like,
reality,
okay, I'm gonna need to know where your sister lives, what she does, and can I get her number? Nice.
oh my God. No. First off, I'll kill you. No, I'm just kidding. But um but it was weird because you would think, like in theory, I was meeting people that are kind of strangers. Like I don't never met them in real life before. And so at first, we joked around on text and I'm like, please don't murder me when I get there because I have dogs. Like think about them. And we made it like a joke. But it was really fun and it's not like anything you can explain to people because I mean it doesn't happen to everyone, obviously. But it just felt like, hey, this is my sister. And it was super comfortable. Like I didn't, when you get anxiety before you meet like a new person, like if you meet someone on Tinder or something and you're gonna go on a date with them, you're like, oh my God, I'm definitely getting murdered and thrown in the back of this person's trunk. Like I know it. It was not like that at all. It was just like, oh, there's my sister and my niece. When I got to the airport, we just hugged
It
and
just
It just
it felt familiar, no?
exactly. It's so weird. I don't know. It is so weird to explain that to someone that like this person. Yeah, we.
I would say like I'm pretty sure it's like the blood thing. Like it's just 'cause
Yeah,
she's your blood sister.
yeah. It is, and we have like the same eyes, and same with my niece. That I have took pictures. I'll show them to you. And we all have like little similarities, and it is just the craziest.
Yeah, it's
Freaking
like
thing.
y'all look goofy. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
we all have like the same weirdness to us, So no one, I don't know. It's so weird and hard to explain. It's insane.
How do how how do your other siblings feel about your older sister?
Well, it's weird because I actually have three half siblings now. I just held up four in the camera, but I have three half siblings now. So my older brother, Elias, him and I,
Pick
um,
number three, my lord.
exactly. Him and I share the same dad too. So me and him and our sister all have the same dad. And then I have a younger brother who I share a mom with. So I don't actually have any like full siblings. Um, which is that doesn't really matter to me. Like my siblings are my siblings, It doesn't make any difference that we don't have two of the same parents. Like those are my brothers and sister. That's so weird. It's still weird for me to be like, that's my sister, because I've never said that for like the past basically 30 years. And now I'm just like, oh, my sister this, my sister that.
You've been the older sister, so you're like I'm the sister. And now you're like, oh, I have an older sister.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so now my younger brother doesn't really have anything to do with it because he's not related to her. But he is excited that I have a sister and everyone's been supportive. My older brother, um, I don't know if I don't even think he's in shock. Feel like he's just like, all right, like something else crazy is happening. But he has met her. He met her before I did. And I mean, we've all been happy about it. It's kind of just we're all in the getting to know each other phase right now. So, but everyone's, I think, excited as far as I know. At least as far as I've been told, everyone's excited. But you can't trust anyone, obviously. So I don't know the truth because everyone hides everything.
So in all this craziness, do you how does that make you feel? Like,
Like, what do I feel overwhelmed by it and stuff? Is that what you mean?
yeah. Are you overwhelmed? Does this make, like you said, you were angry at first, but like now are you feeling happy about it?
I am super happy. I was never overwhelmed by it at all, is the thing. It's weird because when I first found out, um, people kept being like, oh my God, are you okay? And stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I'm excited. Like, I'm really excited to have a sister. I was not angry that I had a sister by any means. I was angry that I had to go the past 28 years without her, and like I've kind of gotten over that because at least I have this time now and at least I get to know her now, and that I didn't go my whole life and then find out, 40 years from now when we're both all like old and stuff that, oh, I had a sister this whole time. And then, at that point, we're all just like old and sick and whatnot. I'm glad I got to find out now. It's just like it sucks for me because, my niece got married a few years ago and like I missed out on that. Like I didn't even get to go. I didn't even get to know her. I didn't get to be there. Um, and even if I had known my sister forever, me and my niece are the same age, so like we could have grown up together, which really sucks. Like we are literally born the same year and everything. Like we could have been raised together, we could have been best friends, and now I'm just that's why I was angry because I'm feel like I missed out on like a whole other life I could have had if I was told the honest truth from the beginning.
I
But
bet your sister feels the same way.
and I don't we'll have to get her on here to talk about how she feels cuz like I had told her and she's willing to come on and talk to us, so that'll have to be one of our next shows. Um but like I said, in the beginning is like I also it does suck that all happened, but I'm also happy for her and grateful because her biological mom and my dad, they were really young. They weren't like my dad was a wild child back then, and I just don't think she would have had the life with them that she got to have with her parents, you know. So
So, since you didn't grow up with your sister, how was it growing up with your older brother and your younger brother?
um it was interesting. So my older brother and I, we have a big age difference too. So I think it's like 23 years in between us or something. So like by the time I was born, he was older, and he lived with my grandparents. So my childhood was weird because my mom and dad got divorced when I was like 1. So I don't even remember them being together. And then my older brother, my grandparents technically adopted him, so he grew up with them and lived there. And he had a lot of, you know, problems of his own. And so we weren't close growing up, really. Like I saw him and stuff, but he had his own life and different lifestyle, and like I was what, 2 or
Like
3 years old.
you knew he was there,
Yeah.
but you didn't have like a good relationship where you guys would like, oh, let's go to the park, or
Yeah, like
let's.
I don't think I've ever spent quality time with him ever, like still. I'm like I would like to, and I would like to have a relationship with him, but when I was growing up, like that just wasn't a thing. Like he never took me to the park, or we didn't like watch movies, or he didn't babysit me. And there's he's going to come on the podcast too, so he can tell his story and stuff, but there was just like I love him, he's my brother. I know he loves me, so there's never a question about that, but we didn't get that time to like bond as siblings growing up. So I feel like, we missed out on that too. Like childhood was just crazy for both of us. And then my younger brother, he is 4 years younger than me. So me and him were really close growing up. Like of course we had our like sibling fights, but we were like around the same age. So I remember when he was born, that little fucker, I swear to God, all he did was cry. I remember like being 4, and I used to be like the only baby, and then he was born and he just came in hot, dude, crying all night. And then I started acting out. I remember I would like do something bad so that I could get attention because they were he
You
had
would be like,
he's
I'm the star of the show.
exactly, like I'd be like, this is mine, like this is my attention you're taking. And well, he was really sick as a baby though, so that's why he was like crying all the time. He had colic, I
He
remember
was
that.
dying. He was like, and you're like, stop crying. And he was
I
like,
was like,
I
good,
can't
like
breathe. I can't
exactly.
breathe. No,
And I was like, maybe you were not supposed to, like a little psycho, like Chucky toddler. And then he had really bad allergies to everything. And then he had chronic ear infections, so like he had to get those ear tube surgeries. And like then he had an allergic reaction, dude. We went to the casino one time because they had like the crab leg buffets all the time, and we went. Turns out he's allergic to shellfish, dude, and also turns out he's allergic to aspartame, which is like an artificial sugar. Like so, it's in a lot of sugar-free stuff. Like Sweet and Low is what aspartame is in there, and
yeah.
so allergic reaction to that. Almost croaks during dinner, so we have to freaking drive to the emergency room. And he had to get epipenned, and like, oh, like it was crazy. So like there
How old
was
was your brother?
he was like 3 or something.
Damn. You act like he was like 14 or 15, and he was 3. He was like, "Ah!" And then you're like, "Ah." He's acting up. He just does it for attention. Homie was dying.
That's how I felt, dude. I didn't understand because like we're 4 years apart, right? So I was like 6, about to turn 7 probably, and he's just over here freaking all
Acting
dinner,
up.
and I'm like, his face is like all swollen, and he's like struggling to breathe, and I'm like, can you stop, dude? Like please, can we finish one meal in peace? Like I'm like so angry at him. And then once he got older, he went through some like sensory issues, so like anything squishy would gross him out. And I remember I would like get Play-Doh and like squish it by him, or like Jello, and I would like shake it, so he'd be like, "Eh," like gagging, and I'd be like, oops, I was mean. I don't know, poor guy. Now I think
It's
back.
because you were, before you figured out your older sister was related to you. You were the mean older sister.
Yeah, but like she's so nice. That's the thing. She didn't even get the opportunity to bully me as a kid because see, that's another thing. I missed out on getting bullied. Like I should have been the one getting
You say
bullied.
that, like, I missed out on getting punched in the face.
Yeah, exactly. Um But as me and my brother grew up, we like got a lot closer. So his dad and my mom also split up, and so my mom split custody with my dad with me, and then with his dad they also split custody. So like they tried to make it on the same days so that we were at our mom's on the same days and stuff. But we none of us had like a lot of money growing up, so I remember we would play outside and we would make mud pies in the backyard, and I had a sled, dude, and we would fill it with dirt and then add all kinds of water to it, and it was just this big tub of sloppy mud, and we would get the leaves and like what are the lilacs off this like lilac tree, and we would put them in there, and I'd be like, open wide. I did not feed him the mud, but we would like pretend. I mean, I don't think he's gonna.
I understand why he's like that. You made him like that.
I made him like how he is. He's like afraid to get bullied. He stands up for himself now, like, but too much. I'm like, stop, just let me bully you. But he doesn't allow it anymore. But then like in his sensory phase, dude, he got mean. He whacked me in the face with a flashlight once, and I got in trouble for agitating him. I'm like, they're like, well, maybe if you didn't bug him, you wouldn't have got hit in the face with the flashlight. I'm like, wow. And he didn't get in trouble. And then, so he was like, he got spoiled way more than me. And then there was another time, dude, my grandma bought me a mini basketball hoop. Me. And it was downstairs, and I'm playing on it, right? I'm like shooting hoops, like practicing my dunks in the living room. He comes down and wants to play.
Kobe. Nice.
Exactly. He comes down, he wants to play, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna take a few more shots. I'm gonna make a few more baskets before you can play. When in theory I could have just been like, sure, let's share. But no, I had to be a little brat, and I'm like, no, it's my basketball. And so then he goes to grab it from me, and I'm like, no, it's mine. And I like wouldn't let go. This brat headbutts me right in the freaking face and busts my lip open. And they're like, well, that'll teach you to share. Like, I swear he was spoiled. I would always get in trouble. Another example. I hope my mom listens to this because I want her to hear this example because she thinks that she didn't favor him over me, but she did. So I got in trouble because I was like,
calling you out.
exactly. I said freaking A one time, and I think I was like 12. I was like, freaking A. Oh, I got in trouble. She put soap in my mouth and everything for saying freaking A. And so I told my brother, I was like, bro, mom always gets mad at me and she does not get mad at you. So like you should say freaking A and see what she does. And he's like, okay. So we get in the car. He called shotgun. And so he's sitting in the front. And I told him like I'm gonna like poke you from behind. Like I'm gonna poke your head. When you feel it, say freaking A, Miranda, stop, and see if you get in trouble. So I poke his head and he's like, freaking A, Miranda, stop. And my mom's like, Miranda, what are you doing? And I'm like, I told you wouldn't get in trouble for saying freaking A. And what I did. And I will not forget it. And like, you can even ask my brother. He'll tell you too. He remembers vividly because he was laughing at me for getting in trouble. He didn't even like have my back. He was like, ha, you're in trouble. He turned on me, dude. He turned on me right then and there.
That's when you know That's when I knew he couldn't be trusted.
Exactly, dude. He couldn't. He would pretend, and he would always snitch on me. I mean, that's what little siblings do, though. I feel like until they reach a certain age, like they're like the snitch of the house, and then they just all of a sudden like turn 13, and then they're cool, and they want to hang out with you because they're like a teenager, and you're like the cool older sibling, So you go to a movie with your friends, and it's like you can go, but you have to take your little brother type of thing, and it's like, oh, I don't want to take him. Like I remember doing that, but we were close. Like we would play video games together because we had like PS2, and we would like stay up playing like Mortal Kombat and Fantastic Four and all that stuff, and Crash, The Simpsons, the one with the cars that you could drive.
Yeah, the hit and run.
Yeah, we play that, and then Grand Theft Auto, but we would never play it the right way. We would just kill people and hijack cars. So, but
It's like the only way to play Grand Theft Auto.
the only way. But yeah, it was wild, dude.
Yeah.
So, how many brothers and sisters do you have, Jesus?
I have one older brother, one older sister, one younger sister, and then one younger brother that passed away. Like when he was months old. So no recollection.
Yeah.
They're my older brother and my older sister. They're half siblings.
Okay, same
And
mom or
then,
same dad?
we all have the same mom.
Okay.
we all share the same mom. My older brother has a different dad, and so does my older sister. And then me and my younger sister share a dad.
Okay. And
But
then
like you said, like I don't really see them like that. Like we grew up like a brother and sister. Like
yeah,
there's
it's
no
no
difference.
different.
And
Um
I think that's like a nicer way of viewing it than being like, that's my half sibling.
yeah, like that's just your sibling. That's how I feel too. Like I don't tell people, "Oh, well, I have this is my half brother." Like that would be weird to think
I
of
feel
it
like
or
it's a little degrading to your family.
it is like I don't know, it just like doesn't seem I mean, that's still my blood sibling, same with yours. And what about like your baby brother, the one who passed away? Was that from your mom and dad?
Yeah, it was. It would have been like another full-blooded sibling, like my younger sister.
And what happened to him, if you don't
Uh,
mind talking about?
he- from what I know, because I was really young,
Yeah.
and what I've asked my mom, because she's the only one that knows, is that he was born without like like a stomach,
Mm,
so he couldn't like process food and that and stuff like that. He had tubes in him and stuff, and his like body started to fail him after a couple months. Like I
yeah.
think it was like 3 months, and then he just passed away.
Oh shit. That's super sad. My grandparents had a baby before it passed away when it was like just a couple I think it was a girl. I don't want to call it an it, but I think she passed away when she was just a couple months old from this was way back in the day because I mean my grandparents were like 85 when they passed away and that was in 2016. And I don't know if it was their first baby, but she got pneumonia. And back then there wasn't like
Ooh,
antibiotics that could treat that stuff well, and that's what she passed away from. And it's super sad that that kind of shit happens still.
it's like you don't want that stuff to happen to babies.
Exactly. Like it's wild. And what about with your older brother and your older sister? How old are they?
Okay, so my older brother, I think he's gonna be 40 this year, and my older sister is going to be 31.
Mm,
So there's a significant age difference between my older brother and my older sister, and then me. And then my younger sister is just 2 years younger.
okay. So did you live with your older brother and your older sister when you were growing up, or were they already kind of out of the house by the time you started your memories?
Okay, so as early as I can remember, we've always been together until maybe when I was about 15, 16. That's when my older brother moved out. But we had all a different relationship because they were much older. My
Yeah.
older brother, like you said, like I just knew he was there because I saw his room and the door was closed, so I knew he was sleeping, but I never hung out with him. And then my younger sister would basically take care of us.
You mean your older sister?
I mean, my older sister would
Yeah.
basically just take care of us while my parents were working. So she was basically the second mom.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a good relationship. It was getting yelled at and talking back, and then getting hit, getting punched in
Oh,
the arm real quick, a dead arm. Ah,
what's it like now after all of that?
after the rivalry.
Is she still like a mom type of figure, or is she like a more sisterly now?
Yeah, she's a mom. She's literally a mom. She has like 3 kids now. But our relationship is a lot, like you said, a lot more better. It's more sisterly. She's a lot more friendly. She's more like a homie, like how I than
Yeah.
us, like a homie and a sister, because she's like someone you can go to for advice or stuff, or just someone that's just gonna give you general feedback on what if you're doing something good or bad.
Yeah, it's funny. It's weird having siblings that are so much older than than you, especially when you're young. Like now that I'm an adult, I'm almost 30, it's not weird for me having siblings that are older. But being a kid, I remember like even being 13 and then seeing my brother and what he's 23 years older than me. So like, he was 36 years old, right? Did I do that math right? I don't know. So he was in his 30s, and it's not like I could be like, "Oh, look, like me and my brother are gonna go to a play on the swings." Like we had such a big age difference, and it wasn't like we had something to like bond over really, and like play games together or anything. So it's it's definitely something that you can't describe to people.
For me, I don't have a now a relationship with my older brother, But when I did, it was only because I worked with him for so long, maybe like 3 years. And it wasn't a pleasant relationship, but we could talk about stuff. It was kind of hard to talk to him because, like you said, it was just like the age gap. We never created a relationship,
Yeah.
so there was just that how do I say it? It was just like silence. It was just silence.
Yeah. It's kind of just this person that you know you're related to, and then he's just there. And why aren't you guys close now?
It's just family problems.
Just drama.
Just drama, yeah. He just has beef with my mom, and just to sum it up, it's everyone goes through it when they're younger, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hate your mom, this and that, and you know you either go two ways: either you get over it and move on with your life, or you get stuck and you end up becoming hateful.
And that's what happened to
And
him.
and that's what happened to him. And he's so much older than us. Like I said, he's about to be 40. I'm 26, gonna be 27. It's like you, you want them to be doing good and they're not, because when you were growing up you saw them like, oh, they're doing great, like, oh look, they're working all the time, oh look, they have a new car,
Yeah.
oh they bought me a game, you know, because my brother would play with me sometimes, but it was always never. But the way he would make up with it would be like, ah, I just bought him a game, fuck it.
Yeah.
And I don't. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I hate my sibling, this and that." Like, there's some love for my brother, but he
Like
has
you
to do
can't trust
better.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't trust him, and he has to do better.
Do you think he ever will?
Maybe as an older man, like in his 60s, 70s, where they start regretting everything before they die, but not now. There's too much hate in his heart.
Yeah. And you have nieces and nephews too, don't you?
Ooh, yeah, like 7 or 8 now.
8. What? I
Yeah,
thought you had like 3 for some reason.
no, no.
At
Okay,
most.
so who cares? I have one that's 17, and then I have another one that's 15, and then after that it's Lucas at 7, and then Sophia at 5. Oh wait, 8 and 5, and then I have another one. He's 4, and then his sister is 3,
Dang.
and then we just got one that's 1.
You just got him. You went to the
Yeah,
puppy store
yeah, they just
to
got
go
him.
pick him
It
up.
was just born. He was just born.
Oh, that's so funny. Um, and what's it like being an uncle?
So I was an uncle at an early age, almost at the age of like 11. So like what you said, like I wish I could have grown up with my niece. I literally grew up with my nephew.
Yeah.
So I know what you when you said that, I was like, I knew, like he saw me like grow up like being, oh, that's my cool uncle, this and that. And then
Yeah.
I left Arizona, came back, got a job. He like what I saw my older brother do is what he's me do. And for me, I feel like I'm doing it right, because I'm not causing trouble, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So if you had the opportunity to fix your relationship with your older brother, would you? Like if he started doing good and came back, would you be able to look at him the same and start a relationship with him? Or do you think all the disrespect that he's shown you and your mom is just gonna be there forever and that you can't see past
I
it?
see, Miranda, you hit me with the deep question, and I know how to answer that, like, honestly, is because I see myself in a position that's so much higher than him right now.
Yeah.
Is that I look down on him, which I know I shouldn't. But even if he came back and all that, I would be like, well, you have to accomplish what I accomplished. Like, you have to get through what I get through without doing what you did, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's how I see it. And yeah, at one point, maybe if I turned my ego down, all this, I could forgive him, and we could get along. It's also that, and then the doubt, like, I know you're telling me you're gonna change, but I doubt it. Like,
Yeah. And it's hard to not feel that way. You want so bad for those changes to be real, but then the way our human minds work is to always doubt the good things. So even when you see the changes and stuff, your brain questions like, okay, what bad thing is going to happen? what's going to mess this up, what's going wrong, you know. And it's impossible to not see it that way. That's totally understandable.
Damn, bro. That's wild.
Well, I do hope that he changes and comes around, and that someday you guys can have a relationship and he can have a better relationship with your mom and his kids and everything, because it is difficult to watch your sibling go through that, and it's difficult to go through it yourself too, which I think when you have a addict as a sibling or anything like that, they don't always see the effect that it takes on you. They just see you being upset with them. They don't actually know the other side of it and like what you guys deal with at home. So that's another reason why it's hard to forgive. But I hope that he comes around.
Oh, I do too.
And in typical Mimi and Weezus fashion, we are gonna abruptly end our podcast in the middle of a sentimental story.
And we out, guys.
Yeehaw, brother.